Welcome back to another one of my ramble sessions. This time I'll be reviewing Tatsunoko versus Capcom. And here you can just watch me terribly play the game because I have a love-hate relationship with this game. On one hand, it's very fun. On other hands, it's just garbage because I've already been tainted by its pretty much successor, which is Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. But let's just focus on Tatsunoko Verse before I start talking about that. So, first of all, this game, its controls are a bit weird. Let me explain. Unlike all of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, pretty much every Versus game that came before it that had a 6-button scheme, this one has a 4 buttons. The 3 buttons, respectively, if you played Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Marvel vs. Capcom 3, light, medium, and hard. But there's also a 4th button that is actually not the special button. In fact, it's actually known as the partner button. And this button basically summons your partner as an assist since you only have one partner. This is both a good and a bad thing because this plays into one of the mechanics. This extra mechanic is, of course, you'll see it later, but it's Baroque. And basically, Baroque is this weird mechanic where you sacrifice a piece of your health bar for damage, if I'm not correct. I don't use Baroque that much. I think it's like damage and faster links. I don't use Baroque that much, so I'm no expert on using Baroques. But that's usually the gist of what I've seen from combo videos for the game. I do own a copy of Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, but for the sake of the video, I'm using an emulation software. Basically, I'm just using Dolphin because why not? It's just easier overall. Sure, there are frame rate drops, but that's just how it is. Back on topic. The controls are archaic because there's no button dedicated to launching your opponent. You have to do sort of like an angled hard punch. Basically, you hit diagonal hard punch and you launch your opponent upwards. This is both a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because now you have a launcher. It's a bad thing because you have to learn how to super jump with it. And it's not really that hard because when you're going into a combo, you perform the hard punch launcher and then you just you kind of like, I don't know what the term you would call for, because it's not exactly a semicircle upwards, but I guess, or a half circle really. It doesn't really count as a half circle, but I'm just going to say half circle. You half circle upwards and you do a super jump afterwards, and you can follow up after that, which is cool and all, but it's a pain in the ass, and it's really hard to pull off a lot of combos. And I prefer to play the execution heavy characters because I always find it fun to just mix them up, which is the fun part about playing execution heavy, because you don't exactly have to play entirely brain dead in comparison to most other characters like Alex, where you can just, wait, bait, and then punish, which is not, well, it used to be my style of game, but I like playing execution heavies when it's a traditional fighter. I like playing the mind gaming brain deads when it's Smash Brothers. So that's what but completely not the point. It is a rambling. So I am technically just rambling the whole time, trying to pad out 10 minutes of video. But this game's pretty fun. I mean, the online is off. You can use Weemify if you want, but barely anybody's on, so good luck. And only free battles work, so there's no point. But this game is the guinea pig for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Because it looks very bare bones. In fact, just like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, this game is supposed to feature 2 specific characters. These characters being Phoenix Wright and Dante. According to reports for it. And apparently Dante, I believe, was cut either due to unfamiliarity or time constraints, and Phoenix Wright was like just completely did away with as an idea because of how unbalanced he would be in the different regions. Because Phoenix Wright specifically, because he's probably going to take up the most. One, they didn't really know how to build the game around. They didn't know how to build him around the game because of the way that he worked collecting evidence. So it would be very weird to do so. And honestly, that's the problem with Phoenix, because his moves really work around his words. And as you see in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they don't always work around his words, but his major moves work around his words. So they didn't know how to balance it out, because the Japanese term for objection, the way that it's spelt and the amount of space it takes up is less than the English spelling. So, in many other spellings, so getting it to fit in the bubble and making it look okay was a big point of contention for the team. So they just completely did away with Phoenix Wright because it would be unbalanced. They didn't know how to get it to work. I mean, they got it to work in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and that was simply just changing the size of the font. Honestly, like the size of the font and the box. So honestly, I don't think they really cared at that point. They just wanted him in as a joke character. So it's kind of a shame not to see Phoenix Wright nor Dante in this game. Though I will admit it's pretty cool to see Mega Man Volnut, the most unappreciated Mega Man of all the Mega Mans. Because, he didn't appear in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which kind of disappointed me, because, I mean, really? I guess Tron Bonne is the more popular one from the Legend series, but, I wanted to see him make a return with a fixed moveset so that it was less weird to, play as him. At least a little bit less weird. And, yeah, that's pretty much it, honestly. Other than that, I'm over here just being a scrub playing the gameplay, really. I'm just playing in training room because I can't handle the computer, and my combos don't last more than 12 hits. So, we know I'm not going to make it pretty far. As far as that, I really am not a Tatsunoko person. Well, I shouldn't say that, because there are a few Tatsunoko characters I do like. I can't tell from here. I just wrote a bare bones point for point script more than an actual script. Most of the time I just wing it. So there's that. But basically, I like Cashin. I like to play as Cashin in Mega Man Volnut, or Zero in Mega Man Volnut, because Cashin, I'm not pronouncing. You know what? I'm just gonna call him Mega Man. Was pretty much. You could see the Mega Man got pretty inspired off of Cashin, because Mega Man, classic Mega Man, has a dog, and Cashin came out first, and he had a dog, so it makes sense why. Not make sense why, but it makes sense to see where Mega Man got inspiration from, besides Astro Boy. So that's pretty interesting. There's not really much to talk about in Tatsunoko. I just recorded a lot of gameplay footage for 10 minutes because I'm an asshole. So if I was to give this game a verdict, a score, I'd give it a 7. It's a good game, no doubt, but it has a lot of issues. It's very weird and very archaic. So, yeah, thanks for watching.